morning and welcome to you watching. We are currently on lock with the Birmingham Breakaway males, and they are about a click and a half, maybe a kilometer to the south of Rockfig. And it's good news because there's actually 4 males together over here. We did see only 2 males in the previous sighting, so it's good to see that they did reunite the boys. But the question still remains, where is the other 2? They remember these boys initially came in as 6 into the territory of the Mayambula Pride, and they've been lurking ever since, and that was about 3 months ago. But currently we've been seeing only 4 of the males. They were moving to the south, further away from Mayambula territory, and where they're looking out is exactly in the opposite direction of there where the Skorro males could be patrolling, and their vocalizations do typically come from that top right corner in the frame. But the boys are looking good. Their condition is superb. It does look like they might have fed on something small recently. Maybe they hunted successfully a day or 2 ago, but their bellies are not completely empty, as you can see. Wow.
Thank you very much, Mlani.
Those manes developing more and more. When they're about 5.5 to 6 years old, the manes will start darkening up as well, especially by the lower chest area. Only when they reach about 7 to 8 years old, that's normally when the mane starts maturing. But these boys, of course, been born in 2018, so they roughly 4.5 years old, almost reaching that prime time where they are going to be looking for lionesses. Still waiting to see when the Birmingham Breakaways will roar for the first time. I can't wait until that happens, but hopefully they remain sort of on the edges between the Vuyela males and their Sark Breakaway lionesses, and the Mayambula lionesses with their Skorro boys. Look at the male on the left. You can see his chin is full of mud. So of course a little mud wallow to the front of them. They did settle here for a drink earlier on. Okay, let's slowly move to the left. There's another male on his flank sleeping. And there's the other brother, the 4th one. On the previous sighting we saw them attempting a hunt on zebra, which was an absolutely surreal sighting. They did not come right, and then 2 of them, or those 2 brothers at the time, they trailed buffalo for the rest of the day. We did find their tracks. They did move east from there, and we couldn't help but wonder, will they meet up with their other 2 brothers in the next few days? And they did. So we're happy that they're all together again. So you guys have been asking if these boys are related to the original Birmingham Pride. Yes, they are. Apparently, as a breakaway fragmented pride, they did split from the main natal Birmingham Pride in 2018, hence calling them the Birmingham Breakaways. So they do have relation to the white lion that we did see a few episodes ago that evening, that himself and that tawny brother did move through the area. Man, I would love to see those two boys again. The irony of that is they did move through, they sliced through our central traverse, they crossed the main road into Glacieri, and we haven't seen them since. So we've got no clue of where that white lion with his one tawny brother, but apparently I did hear that there is another brother forming part of that trilogy or that coalition, but we haven't seen them since.
How long are they likely to lie for?
Oh, for the rest of the day.
Will they? That will be
Yeah. And because it's so overcasted today, quite cool, slight moth rain or a slight drizzle, they may actually stay here in this open area, not even look for shade.
Okay.
If the sun comes out, they find some thick shade, and there they'll stay the rest of the day. And they can sleep up to 16 hours every single day. They're highly lethargic animals. But that's typically when they're very full, so maybe at a carcass or after feeding, and if it's very hot as well.
Do they move as prides? Do they move
Yes,
a
they
long
do.
way away? You know, like elephants just keep moving. Do they do the same thing and then rest and then move again?
That's it, they would, but in their territory. So if they're in a social structure like a pride, and it's a couple of females with their cubs and the pride males, they'll typically set up territorial boundaries. And in the Kruger, those territorial boundaries have been measured to up to about roughly 250 square kilometers. It's roughly also 25,000 hectares. But that's in large coalitions as well. Large coalitions of males that can control a large boundary size like that. Elephants, they move more in a home range, so they don't set up boundary lines which they defend actively like lion and leopard would do. And their home ranges could be much larger as well. In the Kruger National Park, an average sized home range of a breeding bull elephant can be way over 250 square kilometers. They move about very far, where your breeding herds typically has a smaller home range because they've got tiny little calves. So they'll have a couple of water points or natural resources, and they'll typically rotate around those. But they don't actively go out of their way and fight for that territorial or that boundary lines like lion and leopard would do. So these boys would every few days, if they are pride males and they've got lionesses and cubs, they'll walk the roads and their boundary lines, they'll vocalize, they'll draw to advertise their established territory, and they will mark off the bushes and the side of these bushes and so on, and they'll leave their scent behind.
Okay, and that's it. too. That looks so uncomfortable.
Completely unperturbed by the hyena calling in the distance. This long-range contact calling from the scavengers. It's safe to say that these boys are not going to be doing much from here onwards. They'll probably just rest here close to this wallow. They've got nice water, and the sun is not burning their bodies currently, so they're not going to be seeking out shade momentarily. Who knows what will happen the rest of the day. It looks like it might remain overcast for the rest of business. There's quite a bit of rain forecasted for tomorrow and the following day. But it is always cool catching up with the Birmingham breakaways, especially after the previous sighting. There was only two. To see the four brothers together is wonderful. Still wonder where the other two older males could be, but nevertheless, hopefully we do get some news on them and some info in the coming days. From the Timbavati Game Reserve, guys, thanks again for tuning in and watching. This was Heartbeat of the Timbavati. I'm Christof Schoeman. Wherever you find yourself in this world, stay safe and cheers for now.